Tina, the county of Nyeri. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua completed a day of fiery speeches with yet another parent reaching out to former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And imploring the acclamation of the roadside crowd, Gachagua yet again pronounced his intentions.
Hii vita yote munaona ati nikiambiwa ninaongoza ukabila ni kwa sababu ya kusema hata Uhuru Kenyatta ni mtoto wetu. Nimefanya makosa? Na makosa Uhuru alikuwa amefanya tu ni moja. Barabara alijenga, maji alifanya, alileta stima, alikuwa amefanya tu makosa moja ya kutuletea Raila, si ndio? Lakini siku rais amesema, sisi tukakataa Raila tukaenda kwa William Ruto. Saa ile rais wetu William Ruto amesema Raila ni mtu mzuri. Kutakuwa na haja gani sisi kuchukia Uhuru Kenyatta? Iko haja? Iko haja? Watu wangapi wanasema niungane na Uhuru Kenyatta tuunganisha watu wetu?
Earlier in the morning, in yet another extensive onslaught on leaders he described as fighting him in government in Kutus, Kirinyaga County, Gachagua took aim at close associates of the president, accusing them of fueling divisions in the presidency.
Lakini mimi I have only two bosses. President William Ruto and the people of Kenya. Two. Shida ile unaona is some people who are friends with the president also want to be my boss. Inawezekana? Atuwe kwa sababu ni rafiki ya rais atukue boss yangu. Even some people wanamsaidia kazi, mapie yake, wanataka tukuniamurisha mimi vile nitafanya kazi. Inawezekana? Hata bloggers ya president want to tell me what to do. If you are afraid to the president, keep your friendship. Wachana na mimi. Mimi niko na boss yangu, I know his name.
And in making remarks that seemed cautionary, Gachagua warned of electoral consequences if the divisions in the ruling party persists.
Let me tell these people, please, don't destabilize our government. You may think you are destabilizing Rigathi Gachagua, but you are not. You are destabilizing the government of President William Ruto. Tulishinda kura na 200,000 only. Musikuwe na kiburi. Don't forget the journey imetufikisha hapa.
And in what's indicative of a fallout at the presidency, the deputy president shot in the direction of officials he said were absorbed into the Kenya Kwanza government by President William Ruto.
When President William Ruto needed people to stand with him, we were there for him. Characters alimechukua kutoka serikali iliyopita who are mobilizing funds against him. Wamepewa viti ndio wanakoroga hii serikali. And even agencies within government are part of that scheme. And those people were not part of this government. They don't know the struggle tulipitia. Some of us walituangaisha, saa hii wako ndani ya serikali. They were brought right in the center and they were not part of this government. Na ndio wanakoroga hii serikali yetu.
And in pushing for his regional unity campaign, Gachagua mounted a defense of his Mount Kenya unity drive.
Our people know that unity is strength. And the more you oppose this unity, the more united the people of Mount Kenya become.
His fiery speeches are confirmation of the ongoing power intrigues in government, headlined by the all but proclaimed open war between him and his boss, the president. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
G7 summit saw commitments to update the global financial systems to meet contemporary challenges effectively. This includes backing initiatives like the G20 Compact with Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the Paris Pact for People and Planet, aimed at increasing development financing, climate solutions and private sector investments. Acknowledging the importance of sustainable and transparent financing, the G7 highlighted initiatives such as the Nairobi-Washington Initiative, which focuses on mobilizing domestic resources and encouraging private sector involvement in development efforts. The G7 pledged increased support for Africa's sustainable development goals, aligning their efforts with the Africa Union's Agenda 2063. They endorsed greater African representation in global forums and supported reforms within institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and World Bank to ensure equitable participation. The group also supports the operationalization of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which members believe will be crucial for Africa. In line with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the G7 reiterated their commitment to accelerating global progress, emphasizing environmental, social, and governance standards.
Nicknamed Tanga Tanga by his predecessor, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, President William Ruto appears to have taken his sojourns global. His frequent trips outside the country drawing the attention of Kenyans, with social media users generating memes that seem to depict the president as a tourist. While they may trigger a snicker, the cost implications on the taxpayer are a serious matter that have demanded a response from President William Ruto on more than one occasion. Only 2 days ago, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u made a commitment to cut back on the cost of foreign trips in his budget speech. That very evening, President William Ruto was on a flight to Italy for a G7 summit, and as I read this, in Switzerland for a summit on peace in Ukraine. 10 days ago, he was in South Korea, but it was the state visit he took to the U.S. 9 days before that that truly reignited debate on the cost of his foreign trips to the taxpayer. More specifically, it was the sleek luxury jet he used. He later explained he got it at a bargain of 10 million shillings from friends in the United Arab Emirates.
Look at me, Kenyans. Look at me again. I must lead from the front. As I tell others to tighten up their belt, mine must be where to begin.
The government spokesman's response was not as refined. Mora's choice of language aside, the defense provided by the Kenya Kwanza administration has been that there is a return on investment by way of foreign goodies attracted and jobs secured for Kenya's unemployed youth. President Ruto has also taken center stage on the issue of green financing, challenging disparities in access to finance for those in the developing world. On the continent, Kenya now seeks to chair the African Union to further this agenda. His pledge to send 1,000 police officers to Haiti has also significantly grown his political capital. For a man for whom the shadow of the International Criminal Court indictment loomed large to a darling of the West, some have argued puppet. Given his rising star on the international stage, is President Ruto an embodiment of the scripture Mark 6:4 that reads, "A prophet is treated with honor everywhere except his own hometown"?